technology, diversity, wine, the redwoods, and everything in between. Welcome to the Northern California Bay Area, and one show takes you inside the real estate that makes it all happen. This is By the Bay.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Dan and Chetta back here with another episode of By the Bay. Thanks for joining us again, and I'm thrilled that you're here. If you aren't already, please do like and subscribe to our channel, whether you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watching this video on YouTube. Please do subscribe so you can see our weekly content that comes out every Friday. So I am back with another exciting episode with two amazing guests, Angela and Melissa from the Sonoma County Home Group at W Real Estate. I hopefully got that right.
Yes.
And I'm thrilled that you're here. Thanks for being here. So do you want to introduce yourselves and just kind of tell the audience who you are and what markets you're serving in the area? I guess Sonoma County Home Group implies the market that you're working in.
Yes.
But let's tell us who you are and how things are going.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Melissa.
I'm Angela. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
This is exciting for us. Kind of new territory. We're not really sure how this is going to go. But
it's going to be great.
It's fun.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Totally.
Yeah, we serve Sonoma County, Marin, Napa, and some of Lake, I would say.
Primarily Sonoma County. Our office is in Windsor.
Okay.
We grew up in Runner Park, Cotati, so we're real familiar with that area.
So real focus on Sonoma County.
Yes.
But you do serve outside of the area.
Yes.
Correct.
As needed when clients are going out of the area and such.
Yes.
But most of your efforts are here in the county.
Yep.
Cool.
Correct.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So kind of give us some background. How long you've been doing real estate and how's it going?
We've both been licensed 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't actively been selling real estate that whole 17. I was in property management initially, and then we both were raising kids.
Yeah. I started 17 years ago too. We weren't a team obviously then. I started with Century 21 Bundesen here in Petaluma, and then kind of went to individual small brokerages that were just like friends, parents, would hang my license, do friends and family. I don't know, 7 years ago, when I had my last kid, I signed on to a brokerage in Healdsburg, small again, and Melissa signed on too. She got out of the rental, and I don't know what happened. We were helping each other out.
I feel like we were calling each other kind of, if you're going on vacation, I'll help you out. And then we just decided, hey,
let's team up. Interviewed a few companies.
And
landed there.
And landed at W.
What was the thing that happened that made you go from kind of dabbling in a way, right? Hanging your license, but doing when it came around? Because right now you guys are prolific. You're everywhere. Like I follow you on social and I'm watching these buyers are closing, these sellers are doing this, we are doing all this stuff. Like what happened in your life or your process where something changed and all of a sudden you had this big, like real big business?
I know for me, I have 3 kids. So for me having my last one, I was like, I'm done staying at home and taking care of the kid. I mean, I still take care of them. I work my schedule around them, don't get me wrong. But I was done doing that all day, every day. I needed something else to just fulfill me, right? So I think teaming up with Melissa, that just helped. And next thing you know, we just took off, I guess.
Yeah, same thing. My daughter, when she went into kindergarten, I was kind of like, what do I do with my days now? And just having worked together a little bit for the last few years, our strengths are different, so it was like she could, push me and it kind of worked out. Yeah. So just together, we felt like we could go farther. So
we have very different personalities.
Right. I love that about teams. So I have a production partner and we have our own independent business, but we also support each other. So if she's going to go out of town, I can help her and vice versa. We share an assistant who works with us. So we're involved in each other's files and we can work together on stuff. Mm-hmm. So is it kind of explain, you guys are very different personalities and you push each other and challenge each other. It's complementary to be like, so who is who in the relationship here?
Well, I think the obvious difference is I'm more introverted. She's definitely more extroverted. So she will push me in that way, whereas I can kind of rein her in that way. Like, let's focus. Here's your to-do list. More.
Yeah, I'll push her to go out of like comfort zones and, you know, do things that she wouldn't normally do. And I think after she appreciates it, during it, you know, it's like, what are we doing? You know what? You know, I don't want to.
She pumps the brakes on you a little bit and makes sure that you think things through.
A lot of the times.
Right.
More than probably should happen.
Right. So we'll talk about it later because I really am interested in how you are playing in real estate, right? So you obviously have your traditional real estate business where you're helping buyers and sellers do transactions, but you're also doing this whole other thing where you're personally investing and flipping houses.
Yep.
I think that's fascinating, and most real estate professionals don't make that leap to become the investor flipper.
Yeah.
So I guess probably in that context, you've learned a lot about how each other work in terms of risk management and sticking to budgets and plans, and how do you deal with unforeseen things that come up in a renovation.
Yeah.
So I want to chat about that, but before we kind of go into that, I do want to touch on, in your markets that you're working in, what's happening right now with buyers and sellers? What's the kind of the temperature and pulse of things that's happening with them? How has your business evolved maybe over the last 12 months? It's kind of a lot of questions, but kind of that's the overall theme.
Okay.
Well, I think, that headlines people are seeing are making everybody just nervous about making a move, but I don't know that we're seeing like now it's a buyer's market or now it's a seller's market. Like, it really is depending on the house. I mean, we're still seeing multiple offers if a house is presented well, and other times, like, we just made a pretty low offer yesterday on a house that's just been sitting. So I don't think that we can put a blanket statement on it. Like, it really depends.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with her 100%. We can see a lot of our buyers, I guess, getting cold feet because of interest rates, but working with good lenders and having them present programs to them and things that they don't know helps them still want to purchase, still want to get out there and shop. We still have our clients who are move up.
Have you seen that slow down?
Yes, we've seen it slow down a lot.
Right. So for the audience, a move-up buyer means they already own real estate. Maybe the house isn't meeting their need. It's too big, too small, whatever that is, or whatever's going on. Not in the right location, or 2-story, not 1-story. There's some reason why they're transacting, but they're already owning real estate and they're selling their current home to buy a new home.
Yes.
Right. So I have this whole theory that that's going to slow down because people may not love their house, but they have a great interest rate and a great payment, and they're not really willing to give that up. Is that true in your experience?
You would think, yes, but no. We've had a lot of clients just this year, and we're only in March, reach out to us wanting to, which we didn't really expect, right? We thought, we just sold you a house a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, and your interest rate's got to be great, right? But no, they've outgrown something doesn't work for them, the yard's not big enough, maybe they're having another baby, whatever it is.
For whatever reason, the house no longer works, and they don't actually care about the rate, they really care about having the right house.
Exactly.
I think what we're seeing, though, is that this next one, if they are going to move up, it has to be
the one.
Perfect. Like, we have a couple where we have listing photos already done, we're not on the market because they don't want to settle. They want to wait and find that perfect house, and then they'll sell their house.
A little more selective, a little more cautious in a way.
If they're going to pay that higher rate, they're
if
going to
they're
make sure
going to make
it's
the move, it's got to be the right one.
Yes.
Correct.
So kind of even more so goes to the point of like having that really well curated listing that presents well, staged, like ready to go.
Yes.
You really need to be there to attract those move up buyers.
Yep.
Yes.
And in turn free up more inventory because they're going to turn around and probably ell their house.
Yes.
Or maybe they turn into a rental, but a lot of people
Most
sell.
of them are selling. Yeah.
Okay, coul. I'm curious to check in with you later in the year to see how that trend continues.
Yeah,
I've
we're curious too.
Like this, like the hypothesis of like people don't necessarily love the house, but they have such a good deal that it's really got to be remarkably better for them to make a move. I'm not sure if that's going to hold true as people kind of like warm up and just a 6 or 7% interest rate is normal.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, well, now that we've digested that, does the house work?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. I assume that like in the last few years, business has been crazy for you, like everybody else.
Yes.
Have you seen it
been wild.
slow? Are you still going along at the same clip, or have you seen activity slow down?
I like to say that we're back to our normal market, right? Like where we were prior to the past 2 years where it was crazy. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely slower right now, I think, than we were last
year or the
March.
year before.
But I kind of like it. It's
It was
More
almost
family time.
that was
well, because you have young families
Yeah.
and you have things you're interested in and other things outside of real estate, right? So it was unbalanced there for
Yeah.
a period of
Absolutely.
time.
And we actually get to work like in our business, right? We get to work on things that we've, haven't got to do.
Right.
So,
it's not just this frantic.
yeah.
Hurry,
sure.
we have to submit this. There's 20 others, and
Yeah, exactly.
One thing that you've done really great, and we connected on social media originally,
Yeah.
and one thing you've done really great is such consistent posting and content creation and engaging with your followers and that sort of thing. Do you do that yourself, or do you have a third party that manages that?
we do it ourselves.
Right here, this is her.
Okay, I do it.
Right.
Melissa does it. If I do it, I get in trouble. So Melissa does it. We do it together. She'll, we'll feed ideas off
Yeah.
of each other back and forth. She'll tell me like, hey, this week let's focus on getting, shots of this, what your to-do list, what do you got going on today? So we work together on it.
Well, and I'm the camera shy one.
Yes.
So, like, selfies at a showing, that's going to be Angela, not me.
Trying to break her out of the shell.
know.
She just did one the other day on her own. So, so it's not all me. I would like to get her in there every once in a while. But all the wording
It's
and
really
stuff.
great. I mean, honestly, like a lot of the realtors I work with, like, we're trying to post more consistently, and they'll do it for a few days or a few weeks, and then things drop off because they get busy because there's, things to do immediately for the deal
Yeah.
that's in front of them. And
Yes.
you've done a really good job at a really good pace, posting things that are meaningful and proof of your production and telling stories about how your buyers and sellers found you and how you engage with them and solve their problem and like telling that like the story of the journey of like what they went through to find success.
Yeah, I like the storytelling. Like, that's what I would be interested in. I don't care that you just sold a house or
Yeah.
just listed a house. I want to know what happened.
Right.
That's why we all like HGTV and
Right.
watch those things.
Is that, did you like get coached to do that, or is that just part of organically, that's how you decided to approach
No,
it?
I think that's just me. Sometimes it's like, your caption's too long. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, tone it
Like
down.
you're so
I'm
wordy.
long-winded.
No.
Sometimes I have to scroll, but that's okay because
Yeah.
it makes sense. And
But then I try to
like
shorten it, and I'm like, I just can't.
But there's
Like,
a part
that's
that,
the
but there's
story.
something about the story where it's like, hey,
Yeah.
this is the journey that this family went through. They're talking before we started recording. It's like they're the hero, you're the guide, and like this is the story that they went through. And I think that gives people perspective, and it's like, oh, okay, great. Not everyone is coming in all cash, or
Absolutely.
Yeah.
like it could be a difficult process, but working with qualified professionals who know what they're doing that are well connected can help you find that success.
And some stories are not always, happy, right? We have our bad ones too, and I think we still tell those stories, We try to get it across.
Yeah. No, we're open books. It's always a roller coaster,
Yeah.
but
But you're
mostly
and you're
it's
actually engaging with your audience and then turning that into clients.
Yeah.
Right. I think I'm not sure how long ago it was, but I remember reading one of your captions. It was like, this family found us on social. We didn't know them. We had no connection to them before. They somehow found us on social, followed us for like a year, and then
Here they are.
Here they are. That's really rare. Does that happen often?
fairly
Yeah.
often, yeah.
I would like to say most of our business, I don't know, percentage wise, is from social media. Like we pride ourselves in our social media, and I think a lot of, our clients come from that.
Well, and even if it is like our sphere or people we know, it's just an easy way to stay in touch as well, where we know what's going on in their life. Like even walking in here with you, it
Yeah.
was like, oh, I kind of feel like I know you.
Totally.
Like,
Yeah.
I think that's the idea behind social media, that they have some idea of who we are before they meet us, and that they hopefully know us, like us, and trust us a little bit
Sure.
before they.
And then you actually
Even
perform and
reach
do the
out.
stuff that you
Yeah.
need to do to
Exactly.
be professional and,
Yeah.
and make it happen.
We'll get a text message from a past client. Hey, I told my friend to start following you on social media. They're looking to maybe buy a house. Next thing you know, they are reaching out because they had been following us, and
Or if we're not their jam, they might.
move on.
Yeah. Well, that's. They get a sense of us before
Right.
they make that call.
Well, it's nice because then they can self-select out, and then
Correct.
you don't wind up spending time.
It's like a
Absolutely.
pre-interview.
Totally.
Yes.
Right. Exactly. It's a pre-interview.
Yeah.
Cool. So for everyone who's listening, where should they follow you? What's the handle?
It's at
Sonoma
_ county.
Home. Oh yeah, Sonoma County. Yeah, there's an underscore in between. Sonoma _ county _ home
_
group. Ooh, I need to change that.
No, it's great. it defines exactly who you
I
are.
think if you just search for Sonoma County Home Group, it
pops up. But yeah,
Sonoma County Home Group. Cool.
Yeah.
So follow them on Instagram and make sure that you're there. Yeah. So let's talk about the flipping. Okay. This is how I think I originally reached out to you, because you were posting about your journey about being investors and flipping, and it's something I've always wanted to do, and I'm way too scared to do it.
Oh, don't be
like
scared.
I'm super chicken. So tell us like, so flipping houses. The basic idea is that you're buying something that maybe has deferred maintenance or is totally run down or whatever it is, like really needs to be upgraded. You're buying it, investing in it, fixing it up, and then selling it within a short period of time.
Correct.
Rough, like in general.
Yeah.
If everything goes well.
Yes.
So you've done 2 so far.
Yes, we've done 2.
That's
hoping
amazing.
to build our portfolio
we're
more.
not experts, but
Yeah.
we've done 2.
So who was the one who raised their hand and said, let's go buy a house together and fix it and flip it?
I feel like we had both talked about it for a long time.
A while.
Yeah, but we had never made an offer or anything. I'm more conservative. I'm an overthinker. I usually find ways to talk us out of it.
She'll send me things and I'm like, yeah, write an offer. She's like, we haven't even gone and look at it. I'm like, so do it. She's like, no, we got to.
She's a little too much that way. I'm a little too much the other way. But our first one, was going to be.
Our first one was going to be a listing.
Okay.
And we went to a listing presentation. We talked, and the son had it basically not inherited the property yet, but was going to inherit the property. The dad had inherited the property from his parents. Anyways, it was a mess. He lived out of state, the son, and had to sell it for dad. And he didn't want to clear out any of the property. He didn't want to take any personal belongings. What he did take was already gone. Just wanted to leave it exactly the way it was. He got a lowball offer from somewhere crazy. We didn't even know where. Some
cash buyer or something.
Yeah, we didn't even know where it came from.
Yeah.
Like, how do they even know about this? And so we wrote him an offer. We're like, here it is, and he ended up saying okay.
Yeah.
And we bought it with basically a hoarder house, right? We had
bought a hoarder house.
We bought a hoarder house. We went through the fun part. We went through a bunch of things. Our kids would go through things. They'd see old, what is this? It's a VHS, explaining those kind of things.
That's
the old
amazing.
telephone. I think there was an old telephone.
Yeah.
They're like, what's a telephone?
Have you seen those things where they have an old rotary phone? It's like, how do you think you send a text message on this?
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
You can't text.
Yeah.
What?
I think there's an old flip phone in there too that we have a picture of one of the kids on, and they're just like, what is this?
That's really cool that you engage the whole family though. The kids are there. I saw a post, you guys are doing the landscaping and the kids are out there shoveling bark and stuff, right? That's awesome, right?
I'm not sure if they think it's awesome, but
well, I feel like they do. My middle child, anytime Melissa, if I'm like, oh, Melissa and I are gonna go look at a house, she's like, so we flipping it? So we flipping it?
That's awesome.
And then they're like, well, we want to walk through it, and they want to see it. They like to see the process too. So,
in our more recent one, I have a 15-year-old, so he really wants a job, but 15-year-old, it's a challenge. So it was like, okay, you're saving up.
Job.
Well, I got a job for you.
Yeah, guess what?
Lots of cleanup.
Yeah. Bring your shovel and make it happen.
Yeah, landscaping. I think you put the knobs on the cabinets.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Mine were sweeping floors and doing landscape, and it's a family event.
That's great. No, it's really cool, and they can see, the process and what you're doing, and learn something, and
My oldest always wants to see the staging. She thinks she's going to be like a stager when she grows up.
Cool.
And anytime it's career day at school, she's like, I'm going to be a stager. I'm like, okay, you do that. And she wants to see all of it, all of the things. I'm like, okay.
It's awesome to get exposure to it, and they can learn, and maybe it turns into something that's great, and if not, it's just a baseline knowledge for them to understand how supply and demand and economics and opportunity and entrepreneurial, the entrepreneurial spirit works and all that stuff. That's really cool.
Definitely.
So break down the deal that you bought that. It was a hoarder house. You had to go in there and clean it out.
Yep.
And then you peel it all back and you're like, okay, now we've got to do the kitchen and baths and floors and paint and this and that and roof, and how does that work for you?
Once we got it empty, I think we were able to go in and visualize, right? I guess you'd say she's more of the budget, Angela, you need to stick to this. And I'm more, I can see it all. I don't know, how do you?
Yeah, I mean, the first one we kind of had to guess, right? We just walked through. I think a bathroom will cost
X.
this much.
Yeah.
I think, and I knew she was off initially. She was very low. She's like, we can do this for $40,000. And I'm like, no, like this is not going to work. So I think I was thinking more like double that. And we talked to a few people in our office that did flips, and they're like, right. You guys, you're still probably going to be more than that. But, we had run the numbers and there was still room.
On that one in particular, the market started, going up, and we could see the more we did to it and the more we put into it, the investment was going to be there.
Right.
So there wasn't really like a budget, I would say, for us then.
Okay.
So
there's enough upside.
Correct.
So if you looked at the comps in the neighborhood and said, hey, we're buying at this point, we're going to put X amount of dollars in, and the houses around here are trading for more than that, and there's some cushion there. So if we overspend by $10,000, whatever, like that's not going to crush the economics of the deal.
Even worst case scenario on that deal, there was no law. Like it was a win-win.
But we didn't go into it thinking that. Like
I
think we had thought that we could sell it for $550.
Okay.
And probably a month in, the house across the street hit the market, and that's right when the market started getting a little crazy.
Sure.
And they got, I don't know how many offers, and sold for $100 over asking, sold for $650. And we knew ours was going to be a little nicer. So we're like, wow, okay. Now,
so then you make the decision, maybe we do.
You can do whatever
Let's
you
want. Let's do the slightly nicer upgrade that we thought we wanted to do, but might not have made sense. But now let's go ahead. So that was really a timing issue.
Yeah,
but it would have been successful
great luck.
even if you didn't have that upside. That was just kind of icing on the cake.
Yes, yeah.
And the second one, similar situation?
No.
No, it was actually kind of the opposite situation.
It came on the market.
It was on the market, but as far as market timing goes, we closed on that in June. And so that's right when rates started creeping up, right when headlines were coming out. Everybody's starting to like, what's going on here?
There's like June was like a big inflation number, and it was like kind of clear that we weren't going to have like a quick rebound and go back down. It was going to be like a sustained period of higher interest rates. It was there's still some analysts at the time I recall that were saying, don't worry, this is just a temporary thing. It's transitory inflation, and we're going to see this work out. And by the end of summer, we're going to be back to glory days of 4% rates. And then that didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But there was fear in the market then. And here we just bought this house. And so now we're in it.
So we're in it and we're getting started on it. And she's like, you have to, this is your budget and you need to go under.
Right.
So, with me being the design and I see everything and pick it all out, I'll go to Melissa with like, okay, this is what I've picked out. Here's your 3, you pick.
And I think on that one, I was literally like the cheapest. Like, why are you even sending this?
She's like, stop sending it to me. She's like, well, which one's the cheapest? And I'm like, well, can you just pick one that you like out of my 3? And she's like, no. I'm going to pick the cheapest. So pick the cheapest. And so, we did. We actually I stuck to the budget.
We were under budget.
We were under budget for me, so that was amazing.
And by cheap, it's not like...
No, it's not cheap quality.
No, I know what you mean.
It's just her taste, if you know her.
The least expensive of the 3 expensive options.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand that. That makes sense to me.
I'm like, no, this is not... No.
Well, it worked out. We did good. It was, and now
so
we're looking for more flips. So if anybody wants to sell their house, please send them our way.
2 profitable, 2 money-making flips, the first 2.
Yep.
That's very rare. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The investors I know usually miss at least on the first couple, and then they figure out the formula, and then they start making money, understanding where they can buy, where they can sell, what they can spend, and kind of figuring out those trends. And you've done it, probably because of your experience, in real estate. Being in the real estate, having the combined years of experience that you have. Understanding exactly where were those? They're both in Sonoma County.
The first one was in Napa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is why I think we were more surprised by the market. That's not a market we're in every day.
Yeah.
You're not the Napa County
It was
Home
like,
Group. Right.
oh, this is happening.
Yeah.
It worked.
And the other one was in Santa Rosa, so it was in our backyard.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So markets that you're familiar with. I've always thought about buying like out of state, like buying somewhere else, and I don't know how people do that.
I
would
either.
be so stressed out
We've
thinking
talked about
it.
that.
Yeah. I have no clue.
Yeah. I don't know how they manage the job.
I don't know.
Yeah. Or, even for a rental property, if I don't know
Same.
that market, it's...
Yeah. We have a rental here in town that was our first home that we bought. We kept it and turned it into a rental. And even still, it's across town. And I drive by to make sure. Like I'm not sure what's going to think it's going to happen. Like it's going to fly away or something. But
Yeah.
like I can't imagine having a holdings in Michigan or something like that. It's like how do you do that?
Yeah.
But people do, and they do it all the time, and it's I guess less of an emotional thing for them. Like it's just a economic tool that they have.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I invest in real estate because I know it, but I feel like I know real estate here, so
Right.
going
Yeah.
out of state, it just
and every like little neighborhood is it's very different. You
Very
have to know what you're doing.
different. Yeah.
Right. So looking for more investment opportunities,
Yeah.
fix and flip, fix and hold in the future, or what's your strategy?
I don't think we've never talked about fixing and holding.
Yeah, that'd be a long-term commitment with you. I don't know. No.
Wow. Okay.
Jeez.
Shots fired. Okay, got it.
That's messy with you. No, yeah, it's always been
Yeah.
flip is the goal, together with
We like to see the end result.
Sure.
We don't. I wouldn't say that like we do it for necessarily the profit, right? I wouldn't say. I mean, obviously,
Well.
yeah, you don't want to lose money on it, but
Right.
we also enjoy seeing what we can do to the house and know that we did it, right? I mean, we try to put like our own, like we'll try to do things together in the house. I think we were peeling window tint off, and
Yes.
I try to
That
get
was
her to
my
get in, and I'm
job.
like, let's do some work ourselves.
So you're
And
like you're in there, gloves
try.
on, doing the deal,
yeah, try to, but still, it's one of those things where I'm
and
like,
then you
"Come on,
sub out things
come
like
on."
you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
you have a
We have a
list of
group of
subs that are going to come and do the work, but you're generaling it. You're making the design decisions.
Yes.
Something isn't right. You pull up a floorboard and you're deciding what you do to fix it.
Yeah.
And making that decision right there.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't hire a general contractor. Or
No,
anything like that.
No.
I basically act as that, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
That's hard work. We renovated our house, and those decisions are tough. Like they start peeling stuff back. It's like, well, while we're here, like we should probably fix this. And
Yeah.
while we're here, we should probably fix
Yeah.
that. And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath and like do what's the right thing to do, and don't try to cut any corners.
Yeah, exactly. She definitely doesn't let me cut any corners.
Good to know.
None.
Yeah.
She's like, no, if we're gonna do it and our name's on it, we're doing it right. So
What
Yeah.
as you look into the future, what percentage of like your business do you project that being? Are you trying to shift to do that more? Is that half the time you're spending it?
no.
No, I don't think we ever want it to, be more than our regular real estate business. I think one a year, 2 a year, that's great. It's just
Maybe 3 or 4.
This is the
Yeah.
the dynamic here, right?
Because by the end of it, I'm like, I'm kind of glad that's done. For
Yeah.
now, I need a minute to get excited about it. She'd probably jump.
I'd jump right
in.
into the next one. I'd be like, okay, this one's almost done. Let's go. And she's like, no, let's.
So you're the one who's looking every single day and going, we should do this one. Let's go buy this. And
Well,
No.
she'll send them to me, and I'm
Okay.
like, awesome, write an offer, let's go. And she's like, no, we haven't even seen it. I'm like, so let's buy it. And then next thing you know, I'm like texting her, they had 12 offers, they had this. Like,
Yeah.
we just lost out on one, and I still kick myself every day because we lost it for like $5,000. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, why would
Isn't
we even
that funny? Because your advice that you'd give your buyer in that
Yes.
situation would be like, don't lose the
Yes.
house over $5,000.
Don't.
And then when it's you,
make
Yes.
the highest offer, and if you lose it for $5,000,
Then be
more,
okay
you
with
feel
that.
good about
Right.
it.
Yeah, well, we didn't
She
listen to her.
doesn't feel good
Isn't
about
I don't
It's
feel
so
good about
funny.
it, and I'm
It's
so,
so
mad
funny.
about it
Yeah.
still.
yes, absolutely. We all do that. It's easy to give the advice, and then when it's us in the actual like seat doing it,
Yeah.
it's hard. Sometimes like we don't even take your best advice.
Yeah,
So
we don't.
even more of a reason to when you're like you can tell your clients that like, hey, I screwed this up. I
Yeah.
should have done that. It was
Yeah.
$5,000.
Yeah.
It was meaningless in the end, but I stuck to
It's
it. and I-
emotional when you're in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or we don't see that when it's,
Yeah.
looking from the outside when we're just the realtor, but when it's
Yeah.
us doing it,
It's such an
it's
emotion. Like
different.
I think we get numb to that as the real estate professionals, right? Like it is such an emotional decision. And then for us, we just do it all the time. It's
Yeah.
normal to us. We live in it all day, every day. But our buyers maybe do it 3 times, 2, 3, 4 times in their life,
Yeah.
and
It's a big deal.
it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
So how do you manage that?
Well, I feel like we're also agents that are so invested with our clients too. I feel like we go through the roller coasters half the time,
Oh, yeah.
like so much. I've cried in transactions. Like I go through it with them. Like it's hard.
Yeah, it's definitely not this easy phone call afterwards, like, oh, you didn't get it. Let's just
No.
get out there next time. It's like, yeah, you go to bed thinking about it sometimes. And
Or you
it's-
don't sleep.
Yeah.
Like I'm up. I'm like, Melissa's like, you didn't go to bed last night at 8:30? No, I was up all night because I couldn't sleep because now I'm stressed about this deal and how my clients feel and, what's happening. And, so it's like we're in it with them. So, yeah.
Definitely.
That's good, though. I mean, I think that people can feel that, right? I think that, like, just tying this all together, that turns into the story of how your clients, swung and missed at a couple of deals. They finally found the right one. They overcame these things, and you're in it together. Yeah. And you're writing these really compelling stories and showing the pictures of that client. I think that people can see that and feel it and resonate with it, which is probably why you're converting, strangers off the internet to become clients.
Hope so.
Yeah, your storytelling's working.
Nice. So next time you find a flip, I want to do like a mini series on it on the show, because I love that like concept and idea, and that you guys are like doing that. So we'll have to update
and
like
be awesome.
Hear about what's going on and do like a mini
walk you through the process.
Totally. Like even if you want to like get through the economics, bought for this budget just to spend this, we ended up spending that, and then here's what we netted out and did the whole thing. And it's fascinating because I think we talked about there's so many different ways to play in real estate. People are buying rental properties and getting cash flow, and they're their own primary residence, and they're speculating and doing like lot splits and buying something and like trying to change the way that the land is used and enabling building to happen. They're fixing and flipping. They're doing seller financing deals. There's so many ways to monetize and make a career out of real estate. And I think most people just think it's being a realtor.
Yep.
Right.
No,
but that's just like one of many, many, many ways to play in the real estate industry.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So we're here in March, kind of looking at spring buying season being upon us, and summertime, and kids getting out of school, and people trying to do their transactions and settle in. Is it as busy today, like this year, as it has been in the past? I guess the last 2 years aside, we already answered that question. Last 2 years have been an anomaly. Let's take those out of the equation. Are you seeing as much activity as you typically do leading up to the spring and summer?
No, but I think it's an inventory issue at this point. We have a lot of clients who, I still think it's in people's heads, like you list your house in the spring, and so we have clients looking every single day, and it's like, I hope soon. I hope that spring is soon for people.
An imbalance of buyers.
Yes.
Lots of buyers, lots of people who want to buy. Are they first-time home buyers? Or are they still the move up?
Those move up.
Yeah, I think right now all in our pipeline is move up, and actually we have a few coming in from out of the area.
Right.
And I guess you would call them first-time home buyers. So
right.
And we also have a few sellers who have great properties with pools, and they want to wait till the sun's out. They want to wait till the spring.
Yeah.
So it's
right when it's not pouring rain.
Yeah.
Another like 2 huge storm systems are heading into the area.
Exactly.
It's hard to highlight how beautiful and awesome the pool is when it's hailing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll look at the weather app and we're like, okay, we got sun this day. Let's do photos now so that when you find that house and that perfect one does come on the market, right? We're ready to rock and roll.
It feels like there's a lot of pent up like demand, right? There's lots of buyers, but there's also those move ups. There's all these other people, and it's going to be like a domino effect where the person who doesn't necessarily have to move, but would love to have the pool, finds that right property, and then they move and they sell, and then there's going to be like a string of transactions that can happen. But right now everything's just kind of like stopped.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's just waiting for more inventory.
Who's going to make the first move?
Exactly. Yeah. So we have listings ready to go. We have photos taken. Yeah. We have photos scheduled, but everybody's just like, wait.
Yeah.
Right.
We got to wait for our house. Where are we going to go? So.
Right.
And we try to tell some sellers, like, if you don't need, I guess, if you have an option to move out of your house and have another option, right, before you buy that next house, or you can buy your house first before selling. Like, if there's not a lot of inventory on, why not put it on the market?
Right.
Like, it could be an advantage for them right now,
yeah,
right?
and they can buy a house with the contingent to sell their house.
Correct.
In this market, right? Because there's such low inventory.
Yeah.
Whereas before, maybe a few years ago, maybe not so much.
Yeah, no, that wasn't happening.
Right. Our experience, we're seeing like VA, FHA loans, purchases with sale contingencies, like all sorts of stuff that would just never get accepted
Yeah.
They're buying. I was like looking at my, like all the transactions. It's like conventional purchase, like for months. And it's like VA, FHA, VA, USDA, FHA, conventional. It's like, wow, okay, this is like evidence to me that buyers who maybe got out of the market because they were getting told no or losing to multiple offers, that sort of thing, are finding success right now. And so if you're that type of buyer, like now's a great time.
Yeah.
Like get in there and mix it up.
Yeah, and you can write offers now that are getting accepted with, lower price
Or with a credit.
or with a credit that you weren't seeing before. I mean,
Yeah, we're talking about like temporary buy downs.
when was the last time you had a
that.
buyer credit on anything?
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good though. Seems like there's a little bit more equilibrium in the market and not so much like everyone just throw the biggest number that you can and close as fast as you can at the seller and hopefully be the one to get it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. What else should the audience know about this current market and how you and your team, because it's not just you, right? There's other people that you work with that are like, how are you helping buyers and sellers in this market?
I would just say to reach out to us or to a realtor or to a lender just to talk about your specific situation.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are just looking at headlines, about these high interest rates or still thinking the market's going to crash.
Yeah.
But people still need to buy and sell houses.
Totally.
So just how can we get creative and make that work
Right.
and, just make a plan.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Make a plan. Get started, make a plan.
Yeah.
I was watching like CNBC, tend not to do that, but I was watching the Jerome Powell testimony. I'm a total nerd, but that's okay. And one of like elected officials that was like questioning him was like, hey, why like home buyers right now, there's gonna have a generation of people in their late 20s to like late 30s that are never gonna be homeowners because the rates are so high and prices are so high and no one can afford it. And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, that's such a disservice. Like there are definitely ways that you can get in. Like it might not be, $2,000 a month in payment anymore, but like you can do it. I think that the people still have these stories and narratives in their head that you have to have all this cash, you have all this money. Like there's so many ways that you can get into the market. And I wish people that just wanted to be homeowners would just raise their hand and talk to a professional to like get some opinions and see what the options are.
Yeah. I mean, I bought my first house with 2 friends. I mean, rather than rent an apartment and be roommates, I think we made like $11 an hour or something back in 2003, and we each came up with $5,000 for a down payment.
Now that's a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell me more about that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And so we lived there for 2 years. We split the mortgage 3 ways. It was great. And then I think I was going to get married, so it was like, okay, I'm going to move out. They bought me out, but then I had enough equity to buy my next house. I would not have been able to do that next house at my $11 an hour job.
Yeah.
So since then, it's just, I've continued to.
That's incredible. Like
Yeah.
that's
So there's just creative ways.
and you're supposed to be the non-risk taker. That's a huge risk to be, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It didn't feel risky, right? Because otherwise I'm going to go rent an apartment with a couple roommates. We were 21. I don't know. Why not?
Yeah.
That's great. I love that. We bought our first house with the FHA loan.
Yeah, I think mine was
3.5% down.
FHA loan and 3%.
Yeah. I like liquidated an IRA.
Yeah.
And I had no cash. It was just like, I don't know. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it was the best decision we could have made.
Oh, ours too.
I feel like that's what most people end up saying, not regretting it.
No.
I don't think I've ever met anyone who's regretted it.
Real estate's like the best investment, right? Isn't that what they say?
I mean,
That's what I say. That's what I know, but that's what I continue to invest in.
yeah. No, you guys are doing great. Cool. Well, hey, I really appreciate you coming on the show and telling your story. I'm very serious. Like, let me know when you find that next flip, and we'll document that and tell that story. I think that it's really cool, and it's a different way that you're utilizing your expertise in real estate. I also think it's cool that you're able to visualize what that looks like, the end product, and I'm sure that really helps your
That's
clients
more
as well.
Angela.
Yeah.
Because you can walk through that property with that client and go, all right, I know this is like right now, but imagine if you were to do this, take this wall out, move this around, kind of restructure this.
I am so that person because I will walk in with all of our clients and I'm like, I've already redesigned your whole entire house. Like, it's fine. You'll be fine. And if you have any questions, I'll walk you through it. But we've also had the clients who can't vision painting a wall.
Right.
And, and I'm like, oh, if you could just see this, like what I'm seeing right now, like if you could just see what I'm seeing. Yeah.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Love it. Cool. Well, we'll put links to your social and make sure everyone knows how to get a hold of you. And if you need any help with real estate in any of the areas, Sonoma County, Napa, where else do you say, Lower Lake, other places?
All the things.
Any advice? And I'm sure if you can connect to people, if they just, even if they're out of the area, if they need some advice and a connection to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Really appreciate being on the show, and we'll do this again sometime soon.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate you.
All right.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Stay up to date with Bay Area real estate. Hit subscribe now if you haven't already. Did you enjoy this episode? We love reviews in the Apple Podcasts app. We'll read yours on the show. This is By the Bay.
London Ear Media.